This is Lisa from Mobile Tech Review. It's affordable unlocked GSM Android smartphone day here. We've reviewed a few very cool, that is the brand name, phones before, and this is, I would say, the best one yet, especially because it has 4G LTE. Unlocked GSM, so it works on T-Mobile and AT&T here in the US, and of course you can use it overseas. It has 3G, it has HSPA+, it has 2G GSM voice. You get the whole idea there. Anyway, 5-inch IPS display here, quad-core, Snapdragon 400 CPU, so we're looking at pretty mid-rangey specs, 8-megapixel camera on the back. Not a bad design for $229. You could do a lot worse. And very cool, is based in the United States. They're in San Diego, so it's not like you're buying from some shady import website where, you know, when it dies in 2 months, you're out of luck. In this case, you actually have somewhere to go to. And we're going to look at the very cool SL5000 Quantum now. So this is the very cool SL5000. As you can see here, right on their little screensaver desktop picture, it's spelled with a K. Cool, not with a C. All one word, all lowercase. We reviewed a couple of their phones before, and they really are moving forward. This is a pretty promising unit, and I can't wait to see what they're going to be doing in a year from now. $229 unlocked GSM. That means you folks on AT&T and T-Mobile, smaller carriers that also use GSM. This is not for Sprint. This is not for Verizon. Sorry, folks. That's CDMA technology that Sprint and Verizon use. Different kind of thing here. White phone, obviously not bad looking. Given the price, it actually has a reasonable amount of style here, no worse than a low to mid-range Samsung phone. Shiny plastic, doesn't show fingerprints too much there. There's our speaker grill on the bottom. 8-megapixel camera with an LED flash up here. We have the headphone jack. Volume controls are on this side. Kind of got the understated faux metal trim ring there. There's our micro USB port and a microphone hole right there. And this side is our power button. So up front we have a 5-inch IPS display. You know, it's actually not a bad looking display. It's much better than I would have expected, especially given the fact that the resolution is remarkably low, 854 by 480. We're thinking, remember Android 4 years ago? That's about where we were for resolution. Despite that, it's actually pretty colorful. The viewing angles, other than reflecting light, as glossy things do, are very good on it. It's actually not that bad. And if we look at something like Google Play Books, the text isn't too nasty looking by any means. It's not jaggy, it's not harsh, it's okay. So, I know that's going to be the most discouraging thing about this phone in terms of specs, and some of you are going to turn away right now and say, no, thank you very much. Front here, we have a 2-megapixel selfie camera, usual earpiece going on over there, and obviously we have capacitive front buttons. We don't use the on-screen buttons here. That's up to you how you feel about that one. Some people like it one way, some like it another. Android 4.4 KitKat running here on a 1.2 gigahertz Qualcomm Snapdragon 400 CPU with Adreno 305 graphics, quad-core CPU, gig of RAM, which is just fine. Only 2 gigs of available internal storage. Ouch, that hurts. That really hurts. Moto really is looking kind of good right here with the Moto G when it comes to internal storage. So for those of you who like to play games, those big hoggy games, besides the fact that you know, you've got a Snapdragon 400, it's a middling CPU, can handle Asphalt 8 okay. The challenge is some of those games are at least a gig apiece. Gets to be a bit challenging. Now for media storage, we do have the happily removable back cover. So there we have a micro SD card slot compatible with cards up to 64 gigs. This is the SIM card slot. It takes a full-size SIM card. I'm actually using an adapter with a nano SIM inside of there because these days pretty much everything is either micro or nano SIMs. 2000 milliamp battery in here, removable, little lift point right there, and that's our speaker, obviously. We're running pretty much vanilla Android here, which is nice. No overlays, no customizations. There's, get to the widget selection screen right there. Not going to complain about that. It keeps it running as fast as it could be in terms of notifications. You'll notice it looks pretty much like, well, your average Nexus phone actually, and you can get to all your settings over here. So nice, clean, light, spare. You can put your own launchers and overlays on here, Nova or whatever you like. For those of you who like the Samsung TouchWiz road or the LG kind of treatment with lots of extra software in here, you're not going to get it. Very cool, whose parent company is Infosonics, by the way. It loads just a couple of their own applications on here. Well, we have an FM radio application because we do have an FM radio there. We got device care and very cool, which really is a link to look for software downloads, system updates, that sort of thing. I don't expect this to get Android 5 Lollipop. Really, budget phones, it's kind of iffy unless you go with the Moto once again. And we also have Torch, aka turn it into a flashlight by using the rear LED flash for the camera. You can see the little pluses and minuses up here. That's device care, giving you suggestions on whether you should uninstall applications that you haven't used, if there's any problems. And they also have a section of that that tells you about applications that have excessively greedy privacy intrusion issues, of which they include Facebook, understandably, and, well, also YouTube. Interesting. Anyway, it's up to you as to whether you heed those or not. This is full sanctioned Android, so we got the Google Play Store right there. All the Google Play apps are available on this. You got your Gmail app. Everything that you would expect to get on an Android phone is here. And you get the web browser here, including the old WebKit web browser. You can download Chrome if you want. Keyboard is standard basic Android keyboard there, no customized keyboard. You can put swipe on there, anything else that you want as well. And how is web browsing on a 5-inch but only 198 ppi display? Well, there it is. Things are actually kind of small there for a desktop site. That's our mobiletechreview.com desktop site, but pretty easy to read here. And text, again, is actually not as atrocious as you might think. It's not bad at all. And the white background is fairly white, which is another plus for the IPS display there. Phone has single band Wi-Fi 802.11n, which is typical for the Snapdragon 400 CPU, GPS with a GPS, and Bluetooth 4.0. It does not have NFC. The camera application also used pretty much the vanilla Google camera application from KitKat right there. If you swipe up from the bottom, you get access to basic settings there. Picture quality, focus mode, little arcane there, CAF, interesting. Infinity macro auto tap to focus, aka CAF in this case. Color effects, you get the idea. Switching between panorama, video, and photo modes there. And you can shoot video at 720p resolution. And take a shot. Simple as that. And there are the pictures that we took. And there are the pictures that we took. You can see the live viewfinder is still going on over there, which is kind of cool. It's an okay camera. It does not particularly do well in low light, even when the flash is enabled, but in good lighting, it's not bad. 8 megapixels for $229 without a contract, no monthly payments. It's not that bad. How about as a voice phone? Well, this is a GSM World phone, so it'll work anywhere. You can put a GSM provider's SIM card in there. Voice quality is pretty clear on this, actually. I was pleased with that. Volume is just average with through the earpiece. Not particularly loud, not terrible. The rear speakerphone, not loud at all. Pretty odd there that it isn't. But overall, yes, it does work to send and receive calls, and the voice quality is actually fairly pleasant. And the only time that I find it a problem is if you're in a very noisy environment. If you're going to a soccer game and somebody scores a goal, yeah, forget about hearing what's going on in your phone conversation. As mentioned, the phone supports LTE 4G on both AT&T and T-Mobile. It even has band 12 for T-Mobile, which is still something you don't see every day. Here's a speed test right now. We have an AT&T STIM in there, and that's pretty good par for the course for AT&T in the Dallas area. So you do get fast data speeds on this, which is nice. And we'll test out YouTube using the LTE network, not Wi-Fi, to see how it performs. Volume's almost to max.
This is Lisa from Mobile Tech Review, and this is the HP Stream 11. Nice simple name there. There's also a Stream 13. As you might guess, the 11 is the 11.6-inch model. The 13 is a 13.
So it looks good. It looks very good there. It looks sharp, and the streaming over LTE is quite good. The only thing I'd say is that speaker is obviously very thin, tinny sounding kind of speaker. Oh well, what can you do? But for $229 with LTE, it's nice to see the Moto G getting a little bit of competition here, which, again, the second-gen Moto G doesn't yet have LTE, and that's really, to me, a very important feature. You want fast data on network, so not bad at all. So that's a very cool SL5000, otherwise known as the Quantum. Again, it's $229, so you're not taking a big risk in terms of price if you need to replace your phone, you broke it, you don't want to deal with contracts, you want something that works overseas as well at home. It's not bad, but it does have some serious competition from the Moto G 2nd Gen. Granted, that one doesn't have LTE, and in the United States, LTE is a much better experience, but you could go back a generation with the 4.5-inch size original Moto G. Worth thinking about. I'm Lisa from Mobile Tech Review. Don't forget to hit that like button.